It's Wednesday, March 25th, 2020. Really a sad day today to see what's happening to America. This nationalization taking place where the Federal Reserve is buying everything, where people are getting extremely desperate, where people are about to lose everything, and people are reaching out for help and now becoming so dependent now more than ever on the government. You know, people have been so conditioned now that if something bad happens, the government's going to save you. The Federal Reserve will just come in and print more money, pump in more stimulus, everything will be okay. If it gets really bad, they're just going to send you a check. They're going to extend your unemployment, so it's going to be okay. This is extremely dangerous for America. It's creating millions and millions of more debt slaves, people dependent on the federal government to save them. We are no longer a people of independence, home of the brave, free will, independent thinkers, creative, self-reliant. No, we now are a group of people who have been conditioned and dumbed down, who are now desperate, reliant on the handouts from the federal government. You know, they're not promising you jobs. They're promising checks, money, free money. That's not free. That's going to continue to put you deeper and deeper in debt. It's going to put me deeper in debt. There's no such thing as a free lunch. Nobody's going to give you free money without a catch. These debts and deficits are never talked about. They're spiraling out of control. And we're going to pay with it with hyperinflation, okay? This is where you're going to pay. The hyperinflation that you've heard about for years, it's on its way. It's coming. We are going to see what Zimbabwe saw. We're going to see what Venezuela saw. People who thought that could never happen here in America, well, look at what's happening to America right now. Look at what's happening to your financial system. It is in freefall. 700,000 people a week are filing for unemployment benefits right here, just in California. 4% of California has already filed for unemployment. Millions and millions of people are going to be filing for unemployment just this week. There's no economy in America. The Fed is buying everything at this point. And some people are going to earn more money just staying at home than actually going to work. This is where we have now arrived here in the new world of America, and it's a very dangerous place. So we have enhanced unemployment now to keep you at home. I just heard about a half hour ago that 19 governors are literally going to be shutting their states down now. So people will not be going to work. The supply chains are going to break. In these additional 19 states, manufacturing will shut down. The service sector will shut down. More checks will be made. More people will be unemployed. Steve Mnuchin said that an additional $4 trillion is on hand if the first $2 trillion doesn't work. Think about these numbers. We're already $23.4 trillion in debt, not including unfunded liabilities like Medicare and Medicaid, not including the unfunded pensions. $23.4 trillion of debt, and they're going to pump in another $2 trillion with $4 trillion on standby, and you can expect to see that additional $4 trillion pumped into this economy, pumped into these markets, and it's not going to be enough. We saw the Dow Jones come back yesterday, surging over 2,000 points, up around 500 today, all on the hopes of a signed stimulus package that is going to have shady deals on the left and the right. None of this is going to benefit America. They are going to throw crumbs at you, okay, while the Federal Reserve comes in and buys everything up. This is really, really dangerous for America. Zero hedge today. The chances of a greater depression are increasing by the day. Unemployment we could see unemployment skyrocket over 20% here in America. I believe it's going to go way beyond that. Aggregate demand, consumption, capital spending, exports are all in free fall. Yet Dow Jones up over 2,000 points today, up almost 500 points today. It's all based on artificial injections. The same artificial injections they used in 2008 that didn't work. We're right back where we started, except the debt is much bigger. The deficits are much bigger, and the danger is much, much more extreme. And the average American is now worse off today than they were back in 2008. This isn't going to work. It is going to send hyperinflation into America. Your buying power, you know, it's a quick buzz. People are going to feel great that maybe they're going to pay your mortgage for a few months. Maybe they're going to enhance your unemployment for 6 months. But what happens when the enhancement ends? What happens when they shut the drugs off? What happens when your buying power is completely wiped out because hyperinflation hits America? Nobody's thinking about tomorrow. They're just thinking about right now, today. We are now in a time where people would much rather just take the money from the Federal Reserve, not work, have everything paid for, and they think that this is going to last. This is going to have major, dire consequences in the future here in America. Not even during the Great Depression and World War II did the bulk of economic activity shut down as it has right now in China, the US, and Europe. Governments will deploy massive fiscal stimulus, helicopter drops. The government will be buying up corporate debt, household debt. It will buy the entire stock market. It'll bail out banks right here in the US. It'll bail out foreign banks, etc., etc., etc. This is going to crush the future of America. The fiscal response will hit a brick wall as massive deficits produce massive hyperinflation. The infection we have right now that is panicking the entire world is no doubt a threat. But hyperinflation will bring America to its knees, and there is no cure other than having hard, tangible assets. So, as much as I am concerned about what is taking place, my real concern is the financial tsunami that they are creating here. They have put the last tsunami now officially on steroids. This is going to have major cataclysmic repercussions unlike we have ever seen before. Dow, this is on CNBC. Dow rebounds more than 11% yesterday in best day since 1933 as Congress nears stimulus deal. So we have no deal. We have massive unemployment claims right now and more coming. Business is at a standstill. Business in America has halted. It's halted globally. The infection is running rampant. The global economy, quite literally, is done at this point. $500 billion a day in repo injections. GDP is crashing, etc., etc. But the Dow Jones went up over 2,000 points and almost 500 points today. It's not the economy. It's not the promise of new, well-paying jobs. It's not the promise or good news of new technology coming out. What it is, it's the promise of more stimulus, more debt creation. Really dangerous. Wall Street Journal. Mortgage firms brace for wave of missed payments. Isn't this amazing? I mean, just listen to the news that's taking place. Just look in your area. Everything is shut down. I went to pick up lunch today, and I was talking to a woman who was waiting for her lunch, and she was just telling me that she thinks this is the Great Depression, maybe worse. And I had to agree 100% with her. She told me that her husband has not worked in a week without pay, and that they cut his hours from 60 hours to 40 hours, and they're not going to be able to make their house payment. So just think about this for a minute. A few bad weeks in the economy, this person working 60 hours a week, and they already cannot afford their house payment. This is showing us clearly that the American household is not prepared for an emergency, an economic emergency, and this country was not prepared for a health emergency. So as things get worse, we're going to find out how unprepared this government is for a health emergency, a financial emergency, and we're finding out right now that the typical American has no money put away, no savings for a rainy day, no cash reserve, because just after 2 or 3 bad weeks, already so many people cannot make their house payment or their car payment or their credit card payment. Nobody in America, we are seeing the exposure of the real America, where the typical American is unprepared, has no money saved up, and needs the federal government to step in to pay their credit cards, to pay their housing, to pay their auto payments, to pay their college tuition loans. Nobody has any money put away for an emergency, and the federal government is going to step in and pay for all this, but nothing is free. Expect a wave of missed payments from borrowers as early as next month. This will force mortgage companies to come up with tens of millions of dollars on short notice. This will be a liquidity tsunami. The mortgage companies are on the hook to continue paying principal and interest on the mortgages they service, even if the homeowners are in arrears. They want Congress and the president to establish a lending facility to help finance the billions of dollars of payments they will be obligated to make. This would allow forbearance, allowing Americans to make up payments later. How are Americans going to make up payments later if they don't have a job? How is this ever going to be paid back? How many people, when this all cools down, how many people are going to have a job left to go back to in the first place? How is the typical American going to get caught up? Zero Hedge today. It's selling like toilet paper. If you haven't bought physical gold yet, it's probably too late. Last night, I looked at some of the dealers online. Literally, everybody's sold out of gold. Everybody's sold out of silver. If you can get gold or silver, the premiums are skyrocketing. Wall Street Journal. Wall Street Journal. Americans take on debt, tap savings for prep. 15% of Americans have used or plan to use either short-term loans or credit cards that they don't know they can repay in order to buy emergency goods. So 15% of these people buying emergency goods with short-term loans or credit cards don't even know if they can pay it back. An additional 17% plan to dip into savings intended for another purchase, such as a car, and 16% said that they would divert money intended for other purposes, such as household bills. Now that the trouble has arrived, people are going to prepare for the emergency. Many with money they don't even have, and most don't even know how or what to prepare for. It's already too late for most people. Toilet paper is not going to protect your physical safety or ensure your financial wealth. I mean, this is what people are fighting over and running to, is toilet paper. You know, this country is so unprepared for what is here, for what is coming. When you see the mindset that you better hurry up and get toilet paper because that's going to save your life, that's going to save your financial future, a box of toilet paper. Just think how bad this is going to get here in America. The typical American is lost. They're lost. They have no idea what's coming. Goldman Sachs says it's time to buy gold, the currency of last resort. People literally write me every day, and they're asking me, what should I do? How can I get metal? What should I buy? You can't buy it. You should have been buying it a year ago, 2 years ago, 5 years ago. You could have been buying it 6 months ago. But it's amazing how many people write me directly now and ask me what to do. I don't have an answer. I don't have an answer. All I knew is from 2008 that something was definitely wrong. And I would say I probably really woke up around 2013 and said, look, I need to start preparing. And so over the last 6-7 years, you know, I had to make sacrifices. I had to cut trips out. I had to like not buy certain toys. Maybe I didn't eat out as much. I drove an older car, and so I made sacrifices over the years, and now people think in a week or two they're going to prepare for what's coming. It's too late. It's already too late. Unless some miracle happens, or maybe they can put off the inevitable and things get complacent again, and allows you to get back in and buy the metals, to go buy security. Unless that happens, these people are in big trouble, and I hate to say that, but it's too late for many, many people. Zero hedge again. 67 million Americans could miss their credit payments due to the crisis. The National Restaurant Association estimates that 5 to 7 million jobs could be lost in the next 3 months just in the restaurant industry. Credit card debt soared to a record high in December. And remember this, almost 50 million people from this last holiday season of 2019, almost 50 million of those people haven't even paid their credit cards off from 2018 for that holiday season. And here they are now buying emergency food, buying toilet paper, buying essentials, and they're getting tapped out. Because those same people are the same people that went out and splurged last December buying gifts for friends and family with money they didn't have. These same people didn't even pay off. Almost 50 million people didn't even pay off their credit cards from the prior December. Unbelievable. I hate to say it, but a lot of people are going to get what they deserve. 94 million Americans have canceled or plan to cancel travel plans due to this infection. It's going to be a big hit on the economy. And they're probably using credit cards in order for these trips. According to WalletHub.com, the infection is the number one stressor among Americans. The second stressor is money problems, then the election, then their job. Soon, it's going to be money problems number one, job number two. Soon, when people get their $1,000 checks, they'll be able to make their minimum credit card payment and buy a whole bunch of toilet paper, and then the money's gone. We're heading into a real bad place here, ladies and gentlemen. Zero Hedge, another good article. Zero Hedge had some really good articles here the last couple days. California's public employees retirement system has just lost a stunning $69 billion in 1 month. CalPERS, the biggest pension system in the entire country, now has a balance of $335 billion, down from a record high of $404 billion from only a month ago. The California State Teachers Retirement System has lost roughly about $43 billion in the same time period. Cities, counties, and schools will have to pay CalPERS more in upcoming years to make up for the losses. This means higher taxes are coming. We have to make sure that the police and fire employees have their $80,000 or $100,000 a year pensions. The pensions are invested in the stock market. Any rate less than 7.25% will trigger higher payments for local governments and school districts. CalPERS earned 6.7% last year. The S&P is now down around 30% this year. These pensions are in big trouble. And of course, they're going to go after you to make up for the losses. But what happens when the average taxpayer is tapped, when they are just tapped out? What is going to happen to these pensions? It is inevitable that pensions across America are going down. We're going to see more and more people with these pensions. They're going to get letters saying that they're getting 25, 50% cuts. And at some point, many of these pensions, you're going to get a letter that your pension is gone. So I'm going to wrap it up right here. I checked the Dow futures a little while ago. They were up around 180 points. We'll see where it all ends up tomorrow as these markets are looking forward to the massive stimulus package, the $2 trillion, which means the next 6, 8, 10, 12 trillion dollars that's coming behind it. We talked about this weeks and months ago that it would all end up here. Massive stimulus. Fed would have to come in, buy the stock market, buy massive debt, buy treasury notes, inject massive repo liquidity into the financial institutions. It's going to bail out the banks. It's going to bail out the automakers. It's going to bail out the airlines. It's going to bail out big business. We all knew where this was going. And tomorrow, I believe we will get a signed stimulus package that's going to have a lot of shady details in it that are not going to benefit you or I, and it's not going to benefit the United States of America. It's going to benefit the banks, it's going to benefit the corporations, and it's going to benefit the elite. But all said and done, this whole thing's on borrowed time. It is going to come down. This will not last. The buzz will be short-lived, as they are going to create hyperinflation unlike the world has ever seen. There's no way it will be avoided. So continue to prepare, because we've seen a few bad weeks here, and now they're going to bring it back a little bit here. But how long it lasts, nobody knows. But what we do know, and as history has taught us, this never lasts forever. The bubbles are going to continue to burst. The hyperinflation is going to get out of control. The Fed is going to run out of ammo. People are going to go ballistic when they find out that their pensions have been robbed, when they find out that their dollar bills no longer buy anything, when they find out that they're debt slaves, when they find out that there's no food. We're going to see things happen here socially that we never thought were humanly possible here in America. This is unavoidable. Everything they're doing is unsustainable. It's on borrowed time. How long it lasts, I don't know. I don't have a crystal ball. But I know it's not going to last forever, that's for sure. So I'm going to continue preparing the best that I can. I hope it dies down so I can get back out there, buy some more essentials, buy some more brass, buy some more metal, buy some more food while I can. But we're just in the early innings here, ladies and gentlemen. Big events are coming to America. Make sure you're prepared. God bless every one of you. Look forward to talking to you soon.